All right, hey, let's do this. Hey, Amit, and Amit's child that I'm doing this video for. Amit, I got your team's message about a 3D printing project idea. So here it is. I'm gonna show you a couple, but not all of the secrets of my nameplates, which have become so popular at Metro these days. You'll see that I am in Microsoft Word. I'm actually on my Mac Mini um, at the moment, but everything I'm doing should be totally identical on the PC. I've done it on both. Um, as far what we're going to do is we're going to create one of my 3D nameplates. That they're not just mine, but um, the a 3D nameplate. And you'll see. So what I've done is in Word, I picked a font. Um, in this case, it's Impact 72 point. Um, for the sake of simplicity, I made it all one line with a name. I know you know this name. Everybody loves this name. It's not actually my name, but there we go. So it can be whatever you want. It can be your name. It could be Tree or uh, your buddy Michael Eichler or Mark Devine or whatever, Terrence, Judd, Randy, whatever your favorite name is. Um, so we're going to save that. That is actually saved in my documents folder. Uh, this is the whole point is we want to take that Word doc, the docx file, we want to convert that to a .svg because you need the SVG format to import into TinkerCAD. Um, There usually when I create SVGs, I just do it directly in Illustrator. It's I don't know, it's easier, but it's a little less complex than doing all this stuff. But um, I just Googled docx SVG, and this was the first site that came up. It's online-convert.com. You can use whatever you feel is appropriate. But like I said, it's got to be a .svg format. Um, and if you really need it, um, you can just tell me whatever name you want with whatever font you want, and I can just create it for you directly in Adobe Illustrator if this is too complicated. All right, so that file is uploaded. I am going to convert it now, and second, um, it is, it will be done. It is done. So let's download that. Go over here to our downloads folder, Finder. I love using a Mac. And my SVG is open in Illustrator, as you can see. But there's the name that we created now appropriately saved in SVG format. So we're going to go ahead and close that. And now what I'm going to do in my other tab that I have open here, somewhere, TinkerCAD, right there, we're going to go to create 3D design. And hopefully, I think most kids in the Fairfax County school system that are doing any kind of STEM, STEAM, 3D printing, Lego building, whatever, are pretty familiar with TinkerCAD. So they're probably more familiar than I am with TinkerCAD. But in case they're not, it's https://www.tinkercad.com, and then you have to log in. You can personal accounts and educational accounts are free. You can even log in with a Google account if you have one. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a ruler onto the work plane like so. And then I'm going to go to import, choose file, and we are going to go down here to make sure I am in my downloads folder, not my documents folder. And if we're going to go down here, you should see, oh, it's because I still have Illustrator open, I think. Cancel that, do it again. It should let me in my downloads folder. There it is, Jack Rossman right there is available to import. I don't know why the preview isn't previewing anything, but that's just some TinkerCad weirdness. So first thing I do is always select art. And I know because this is the second time probably that I've recorded this video, I'm going to scale it down because it was kind of big on the work surface. I tried 40% and it was too big even still. Um, I'm going to bring it down to 25 and that should be okay. So we're going to import that, and as soon as the progress bar is done, we will have, you'll see the name Jack Rossman on the screen there. And that is a single object. I'm going to do a couple things to start with. I'm going to cut the height down to 5. These numbers are all in millimeters, by the way. You can switch TinkerCAD to display, well, I should say all the measurements are the height, width, diameter, all that stuff are in millimeters. This quality thing is just a number. So I decreased the height from 10 millimeters to 5 millimeters. This quality thing is just a number. I'm going to set it to max, which is 24. That I believe is the number. It just ups the quality of the 3D object. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replicate this 3 times. And you'll see you can do that with duplicate and repeat. 1, 2, 3. And you say, but Jackman, Rossman, whatever your name is, why are you doing that? Why do you need... Did I miss one? Oh, there we go. I knew I did 4. That's the one thing you got to be careful of. After you do the duplicate and repeat, they're all selected, so you have to make sure that all 4 of them are unselected, and then when you click on them, it'll select the the, the top object or whatever. All right, so now we did that. I'm trying to keep this moving a little bit so it doesn't get too long. Um, I'm going to change the color of this one to orange, and you'll see why in a minute. And I'm going to, well, we'll do this first. All right, so we change the color of one of the objects to orange, and now what I'm going to do is click that object, go down to fill mode, go to outer line, and the corners we're going to change that to round, and the line width, you can mess with that if you want to, but I usually just leave the line width at whatever the default is, which in this case is 5. So we got 1. Now, if we take this will be a little easier to explain if I don't change the color before I do it. So what we're going to do is we are going to basically get those 2 lined up. and get them selected. And I'll show you how to align them in a minute. But what we want to do is we want to get a basically a solid, almost solid. You'll see in a second. Almost solid. This is going to be the background shape essentially. So we have a almost solid. Um, so now let me change the color. Move this back down here a little bit. I'm going to change the color of the second object here to that same orange, but going to presets and then orange right there. So now I'm going to do what I did before, which was drag this in there and then select both of the objects. And we're going to go up here to align, and we're going to center it vertically, and we're going to center it. We're going to center it horizontally, and now we're going to center it vertically. It was already vertically centered. So now you have two objects that are basically sitting. One of them is inside the other one. What we're going to do now is we're going to merge these two objects, and with this button that says Union Group, and we're going to make that essentially one object. Now, and like I said, what that really does is it gives us the background shape for the base of our or the background of our 3D object. So now what I'm going to do here, you gotta hang with me on this one. This takes a bit of getting used to. So I'm going to change this to a hole. And what the hole does is this shape will now cut into whatever is placed on it. So what I'm going to do is right now the height of this object is 5 millimeters. So I'm going to, and what this 000 option does here, 0.00, is that is the height above the work surface. So follow me on this one. I'm going to raise this 3 millimeters. And then I'm going to do the same alignment process that I did before. I'm going to move them on top of each other. And I'm going to go to align over here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to horizontally center and vertically center. Okay. So now hang with me on this one. So the orange base layer is 5 millimeters tall. I raised the hole 3 inches, or I'm sorry, 3 inches, 3 millimeters. So now, basically, what's going to happen when I do that same union group again? You're going to get there's going to be a hole that is 3 millimeters deep into the 5 millimeter orange base. Okay, so let's do that. If I can, gotta have both things selected again, and then that same union group. That's how you make the whole shape cut, like so. And again, when the text changes from red to the other color, um, it's done. The hole is complete. Now you can, if we look, you can see that, I'm trying to see if I can get closer. You can see that what I did cut 3 millimeters into the orange object. So now hopefully you're keeping up with the class. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to another color, like purple, because that's what I have in my 3D printer. And let's move it so we can see the height. You see it's at the same height as the other one. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to move this 3 inches high. I keep saying inches. Sorry, 3 millimeters high, like that, off of the work surface. And then I'm going to line these up, but I'm not going to union group them. And I will tell you why I'm not going to union. I'm not going to group them in just a second. But you'll see I'm going to do the same, call the same thing. Horizontal, center, and if I can find the stupid vertical center. I can't, I see it. There it is. Oh, it is over there. It's already vertically centered. So now, if we, like I said, you could group these to make them permanent right now, but let's go and take a quick gander at the 3D objects. If I can remember to do this, there we go. You'll see now that should be uh, math is hard. 2 millimeters down, 2 millimeters into the orange, 3 millimeters up, for a total of 8 millimeters from the top of the orange or the top of the purple to the bottom of the orange, which is what we're looking for. So you can see that that is all. And you could actually do the inverse. You could, um, that is actually called embossing because the text is raised. You could engrave it the other way. I've done both, um, but and some more crazier stuff than that as well. So, um, but right now, the reason I didn't group these is if you're using Bambu Studio um, to do your 3D printing, like if the school has a 3D Bambu 3D printer, and I think most of them do, and even if they don't, like I was talking to somebody the other day, and he was saying that at the new school that his wife teaches at, they use Ultimaker. The slicer, basically Bambu Studio, that's just Bambu's name for it. The Studio is pretty much the same across most of the 3D printers. So this functionality should be the same, even if you're not using Bambu Studio, but probably are. First thing, what we want to do is we're going to change this to like so. And then conventional wisdom would have you export this as a STL for a 3D print. Um, you want everything in the design selected, of course. Um, most people export as STL, but what exporting as STL will do is it'll change everything back to that same orange color or some other random color. I found out that if you export as an OBJ, like so, it will preserve the color settings when we go into Bambu Studio, which, come on, go gadget, print. All right, so now what we want to do, let's minimize that. and go over here. You'll see in my downloads folder, Jack Rossman. Um, it's a, it's actually it comes down on a PC. It comes down as a zip file, but Mac does a crazy thing where it like automatically unzips all your zip files. So if you if you see it on your if you see it on a PC, this would say like jackrossman.zip, but on the Mac it just shows up as a folder. So next, what we want to do is go over here to not folder. Sorry, we want to go to the apps and let's go to Bambu Studio, which is like that. I do love my Mac, man. I do. It's not going to replace my PCs, but it's, I do enjoy it. So now what we want to do in Bambu Studio is you want to go up here to File and Import, and instead of importing an STL, actually, you know what I want to do? I want to do one thing first, and this is okay. I want to make sure my colors were all set correctly, were all synchronized correctly um, on my AMS, my color filament switching thing. So they are. So now I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Import, and I'm going to pick the first option, which if you read it is the same for OBS, STL, and OBJ. Let me find my name, which should be whichever folder I'm in. Should be Jack Rossman. There it is. And you'll see the tinker.obj is the one that you want to is the one that you want to open. Um, that's one of the great things about the exporting as an OBJ is it it matches your colors, and if you get them pretty close, did it get the right one? I don't know. Uh, the we'll check here in a second. It'll it'll do that. It'll match them for you. So, and this is all standard 3D printing stuff from this point forward. I want to slice this. Let's see how long it's going to take. There are no errors in slicing. Thank you, Jesus. 5 and 6. Those are not right, of course. So, what I want to do is I want to go read a print, and I, gosh, don't do that to me. Stop it. This is what I was afraid of. Don't pay any attention. I just want to delete this ABS because it always picks the wrong. It always picks the wrong filament types. ABS. I'm gonna delete this one. ABS. Something happened here. Well, I'm gonna wind up recoloring this anyway. So I'm going to. I probably should have just overwriting, synchronize. That should bring my That should bring all my actual colors back, which it did. So we're going to go back over here. I think we're going to go to prepare. We're going to select change filament down here, and we're going to change to that one. And then if I would have done it right, it would have imported those colors correctly, but we'll just do it this way for now. And we want to use number 1 as our sort of purple looking filament, and so now I should be able to select all of these letters like so. Did I get the right color? Yes, I guess I did. That purple filament that's in the number one spot is color changing. It color changes from blue to purple. So, and in case you didn't know how to paint in Bambu Studio, that is how you do it. So now, if I slice this one more time, take a quick gander, go to preview, see it from the bottom, and there you can see, got a really good look at the holes. They punched through the orange, and so now we sliced again, and it looks like that you really have to pay attention to um, 57 minutes, 34 seconds, and number of filament changes somewhere in here is 12. Oh, um, the other thing I should probably show you how to do, in case you're not aware, is let's go ahead and scale this up by 20%. So S on the keyboard will scale. You set this to 1, 2, 0, like so. Just make it bigger, and now we have to reslice again. That's how I knew I didn't scale it because um, generally all of my name tags they're more than an hour to print, um, and so when it came back and said 57 minutes, I was like, wow, that's like super fast. So now you can see that when I go to print, it's got all of the colors selected correctly. Let me turn on stupid time lapse. Time lapse is on, and it's going to print. Going, going, going. We'll wait for it to. It should start here in a second. Um, and one of the cool things about Bambu Studio is if you hit the play button like so, give it a second or two. Don't mind my dirty build plate. It's okay. Um, it'll be all right. It'll be fine. And I know I picked weird colors. I did that on purpose actually, so that um, you'll see that the one is kind of blue and purple, and the other is kind of orange and purple. It should be really weird looking. I did that on purpose just for the demonstration. And don't worry, that little piece of gold filament will get cleaned off, and there you go. It is starting, and it's going to take some time to do the calibration and stuff, but it's this printer, by the way, in case you're asking, Dad, Amit, be a good father and buy your kids a Bambu P2s. That's what this is. Um, it's pretty fast, pretty quiet, much better than my previous other Bambu printer, which was very entry level. Um, this one is much easier to deal with. Um, it's all enclosed in a case, and it's very temperature controlled in there, and it's just great. So yeah, what are we doing? Doing a filament change, actually. It's trying to. Anyway, all right. I will. Oh, there we go. It's gonna finish calibrating here in a second, and it should actually start printing in a second or two. As soon as it starts, then I will stop this video, and because I'm actually recording that view from the camera inside the printer. There's one that's built in there. When that's done, you'll see it's not the best time lapse, but it is a time lapse of the whole print process. See, I told you that. I told you that little gold straggler, which was not what I was going to call it, but I'll keep it very G-rated. Um, the little gold straggler got cleaned off, and there is actually in the back of the printer there is a hole back there, which is um, affectionately referred to as a poop chute, where all of that stuff goes. And I have actually a little 3D printed, um, like little wastebasket thing that just goes and collects all that stuff. And I don't know, about once a week, I go in there, or get my wife to go in there, and and clean all the little random miscellaneous bits. Come on, man. It's all part of the calibration process, is what it's doing now. I'm looking to see if the filament is changing, but there we go. It's going to start drawing here in a second. Drawing, printing. I could have turned. I thought about it. I could have turned off all this calibration stuff because honestly, once you've once you've kind of got it um, working with the same kind of filament, it doesn't really change very often. But it's going now. It's gonna start. It's gonna start drawing. Or printing. It's gonna start doing it right about, right about. You'll see it. It's gonna come up and draw a line, um, right there by the little white QR code here in a second, and then it'll start. Um, and then it'll start drawing. Like I said, I thought about turning all this stuff off, but from this point forward until the print is done, it's kind of hands off until it's either done or it errors or something. There we go. Now it's gonna start. Now it's gonna draw that line with every print. It draws that first line, and then uh, with multicolor prints, you'll see it does this print tower thing um, up there, back there in the back, kind of up there in the corner. But all right, try something somewhat entertaining. All right, there we go. Now it's actually started to print, and it does it layer by layer. Um, we're on layer 1 of 45. We have about an hour and 14 minutes um, remaining. It's going to take. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to show you on the slicing menu is that it's going to take 26 grams of total grams of filament, and so that's about as exciting as it gets for the next, I don't know, 2 hours or whatever. Like I said, I'll insert the time lapse when it's done, and you'll be able to watch the whole process if you want to. So anyway, thanks. Hope this helps. See you soon. Talk to you later. Adios. Happy Martin Luther King Day.